Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and we have a very informative program today because my guests are Emily and Joshua Lee. You can say hi now to the people.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Emily and Joshua are not only a married couple, but they are also in business together, I guess you could say. They own Westfield Dental over in Westfield, New York, and they are both dentists. Now, I thought I'd start out by asking you, did you meet in dental school?
We did.
I imagine that probably was how it is, since you're both dentists. Okay, and now, how did you go about going from being classmates to being a married couple? You want to tell us a little about how that happened?
Yeah, so we were classmates, so we were in the same class, so we knew each other right from pretty much the first day of school.
Mm-hmm.
We remained that way as friends. We had kind of the same friend group for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end of our third year, we kind of started hanging out a little bit more, studying together, and then the rest has been history.
Mm-hmm. And so that's how you, in other words, you kind of fell in love with each other. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It was a pretty seamless transition.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, now I'd like to know what caused you to decide you wanted to become dentists?
Sure. Well, we've discussed this many times because a lot of people ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
I think it begins with an interest in the sciences and then medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So both of us kind of pursued that going into college.
Mm-hmm.
And we also both really wanted a career where we could help people.
Mm-hmm.
And dentistry seemed to check a lot of those boxes
Oh,
for
okay.
each of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did you go to dental school?
So we both went to dental school at UB, so the University of Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
They have a dental school there. I did my undergraduate studies at the University of Buffalo as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you come from other parts of the country, or were you local in the Buffalo area?
Well, I grew up over in Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania. not far
Oh,
from
okay,
here.
okay.
And then I had done my undergraduate studies at Penn State. And when you decide you want to go to dental school, there are dental schools all over the country. So you have to take a special exam and complete certain credits and apply to these.
Mm-hmm.
I applied to Buffalo because it was close to home.
Okay.
And so that's how I landed there.
You could go visit your family really easily,
Very easily.
for the short distance.
Yeah.
And what about you, Josh?
I'm originally from a small town called Greene, New York. It's
Green?
About, yep.
Oh, okay.
It's about 30 minutes north of Binghamton.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a small town then?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. And did you take your first 4 years of college? Where did you do that? Where did you do that?
I did that at Buffalo as well.
You did that at Buffalo too, so you did
Yep.
everything at Buffalo.
Mhm.
Both
Yeah.
of you did.
Mm.
Okay. So you knew each other for a long time before you were fully dentists then?
About,
Mhm. Yep, about 3 years.
3 or 4 years. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Now, tell us something about your education.
As far as courses that are
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. It's very science focused, and we get a lot of medical knowledge as well, so that we can treat the entire body in a way, although we're really practitioners of the head and neck area, so there's a focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 years of dental school are pretty rigorous, so you've completed an entire bachelor's degree, and now you're entering into an arena where you have 20 plus credit hours per semester. You're in class from 7:45 in the morning till roughly 5:30 in the evening.
Wow,
and
that's a long day.
You get a lunch break in between, but a lot of the first year or two they're heavily didactic, so you're in a lecture hall all day long, and a lot of the times the faculty members would come in to lecture and you would stay in the same room all day. They would come to you.
Mhm.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, now, when those of us who are patients of yours come to the office to get our teeth cleaned and checked, I've noticed that you check for swollen lymph nodes and examine the mouth and for cancer. And how do you do this then?
Yeah, so this is something we're trained to do right when we first start seeing patients as third-year students. There's been a real focus on whole body wellness in dentistry rather than just teeth. I mean, there's a lot more going on than that.
Was it always that way? I don't think it was.
I don't think so. I think there's been a shift.
Yeah.
So the whole medical community has learned in recent years that early detection is key for a lot of things, not just cancers, but all sorts of stuff. So by doing these really thorough head and neck exams and oral cancer screenings, if we find something that's suspicious, we can make an appropriate referral and maybe even save somebody's life. So we don't find stuff that often, but when we do, it's important.
Well, I know in March I had my first appointment since you took over the office, and Emily examined my neck, and she was feeling for swollen lymph nodes and looked all over in my mouth really good and everything. And I don't think she found anything because she didn't, not cancer anyway. But so, what procedures can you do? I know that there's procedures you can do at your office and ones that you have to refer out to other dental specialist types. What ones can you do at the office?
So the nice thing about us being a husband-wife team, we complement each other pretty well in the things that we do. So one of our goals, we try to keep a lot of things in the office. Patients don't want to go to a new building and meet a new team and do all this. So the more stuff we can keep in our office, that makes for a better patient experience.
Oh, yeah.
And between the two of us, we can do just about everything.
Just about everything.
We have patients come in for cleanings all the time, basic restorative stuff, so your fillings, we do crowns and bridges and dentures, take out a lot of teeth. We try to keep as much in-house. We do root canals. If a case looks particularly difficult or something like that, we will make a referral to an appropriate specialist in that situation.
Okay. Now, you said that you have been trained to do dental implants, but you aren't doing that yet at your office. Somehow you need to change things somehow before you can do that?
We need appropriate equipment to start placing the actual implants. We've acquired the training, but the equipment itself we don't have at the office just yet. One day we hope to, hopefully in the near future. So currently we are referring patients who are interested in implants to an oral surgery office where they have the implants placed, and after an appropriate healing time, our patients come back to us, and we are the ones who restore or put a tooth on the implant and make it functional.
Oh, okay. So the actual implant is one thing, and then it's kind of like you put some sort of a crown or something on it? Okay.
Yep.
Exactly.
The implant is almost like a man-made root.
Okay.
And it functions just like your tooth root, so it has to be placed down where those roots exist in the bone for us to use
it's
them.
fastened somehow into the bone then. Okay. Now I also wanted to ask about flossing teeth. Why does it shorten a person's lifespan if they don't floss their teeth?
This is a good one. So this topic has become really
controversial.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it really?
It's gained a lot
Lately.
of attention in recent years, mainly with gum health. So flossing will do a few things. It'll help prevent cavities in the teeth, cleaning the space in between them, but it's also helping to maintain really healthy gums.
Okay.
We've learned a lot in recent years that gum disease or periodontal disease can have effects all throughout the body, especially in the heart. So there's been a noted increased risk with strokes and heart attacks with patients that have periodontal disease.
Oh, okay. Now, how does the periodontal disease contribute towards that?
So they don't know exactly yet.
They don't really know.
Yeah, there's
Just that it seems more common in people with periodontal
so
disease.
when you have periodontal disease, there's chronic inflammation that's always in your mouth. And those inflammatory markers and the bacteria are able to get through the whole body.
Oh, okay.
With that
Well,
inflammation, they get into the bloodstream, and then they end
the
up.
inside of the mouth is very vascular, right?
Exactly.
Even if somebody were to take a sip of some poison but spit it right back out, a certain amount of that poison would still get into their body, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And there are medications that you administer them to people on the floor of their mouth.
Under the tongue.
You just put it underneath the tongue, and
like,
that medication gets absorbed really quickly.
Yeah, that would be like the homeopathic remedies and things. Yeah. Now, how does how do you do like a root canal? Would you kind of like describe that to the viewing audience?
Sure.
Certainly.
So, you have a tooth, and there are layers to your tooth. The outer surface, everyone knows that's enamel. There's an inner surface, and in the very core of your tooth, it's where your nerve for your tooth, or the pulp, resides. So when we're doing a root canal, we numb a patient so that you don't feel any discomfort, and we go into the middle of that tooth to remove the nerve. We disinfect where the nerve had been, and then we fill the tooth back up with an inert material so that you can keep your tooth there, but it no longer feels any discomfort, pain. And then typically after a root canal, depending on the circumstances, we may recommend a crown to cover that tooth and protect it, or a filling.
Okay. Now, with the crown, how do you do the crowns?
Yeah. So the crown is a type of restoration that's made by a lab, or it's made outside of the mouth. So what we need to do, we need to make an amount of space for that crown to fit over the top of the tooth. So it's still your natural tooth, there's just something sitting over the top of it to protect it. When we do that, we take about 1 millimeter off the tooth all the way around it, and about 1.5 millimeters off the top, or the chewing surface of it. That provides enough space that the crown can then sit over the top of your tooth and not interfere with your bite at all.
Oh, okay. And sometimes if the person's tooth has been broken, apparently you have to do a crown buildup first before you actually do the drilling to actually put a crown on. Is that right?
Yep.
Occasionally we'll have to build a tooth up to make it hold a crown better. A crown, I explain to a lot of patients, is almost like a little helmet that goes over your tooth. But if half of your tooth is missing, that's not going to be as stable.
Right.
So we will build the tooth up to a proper contour to hold the crown better.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, when people come to your office for an appointment, are they're probably still, well, we're, for the viewing audience's information, we are recording this in June. You probably won't be seeing it till September, but as of right now, are people still required to wear masks when they come to your office? And they have to call from the car, do they still?
We're still doing that because we found it's really helped regulate things internally in the office. Rarely do we have a patient come in and even have to wait for a room. We typically have them available. So it's really helped with traffic through the office. That way people are not encountering each other as much. We want to maintain that 6-foot distance as much as possible. Even though people are coming in and most people are vaccinated now, as a healthcare facility, we are still required to follow certain regulations.
Oh, right.
And mask wearing, social distancing, that's 2 of those.
Okay. I know over the years, I mean, I've been around a long time. I'm 71 years old now. And I remember when I was younger, you know, like maybe in my 30s and like that, I can remember you would go to a doctor's appointment and you would show up on time, and then a lot of the time you'd wind up sitting for like 2 hours. You know, you just about had to take the day off to go to a doctor's appointment. I think that the doctor's offices are managing, I think they've improved a lot, it seems like. But of course, they have a lot more help now. They have physician's assistants and nurse practitioners that can see a lot of the patients and don't necessarily need to see the doctor. But I remember that was used to be a problem. Some doctors used to double book their patients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, how does dental insurance work?
We could have a whole show on this one.
Could we really?
Oh, we could.
And invite our receptionist in
Yeah.
too. Nancy would love to talk about
Oh, we could do that. We
Yeah.
could do that sometimes. So it's too complicated.
Not
Well,
necessarily.
we can
You
breach
can
the
put out
subject.
some
Yeah.
generalized information.
Yeah, because there's a lot of misconceptions about dental insurance. A lot of people think that they have dental insurance and that's going to pay for all of the care that they'll ever need. And that's not true.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, you know, dental
Yeah.
insurance started back in the 60s. And back then you had X amount of dollars that dental insurance would pay for. The average X amount of dollars that was in the 60s, that hasn't changed in the dental insurance company world at all. So they're still giving people the same allowance they had back in the 60s.
Oh, is that right? And
Yeah.
Even though the cost
Even
of
though
everything
the cost of
has
everything has gone up, that dental
yeah.
benefit hasn't changed
including
at all.
the insurance premium too, what you're paying for your
Yeah,
insurance.
so the premium's gone up as well.
Yeah.
But the benefit that insurance is paying out has not gone up.
Oh, gosh.
So it doesn't go as far as it used to. I really tell patients to think of their dental insurance like an emergency fund. You know, it's not going to pay for you to fix your whole mouth. But if you break a tooth, it's maybe going to help for that one event of the year. And most insurances will cover a percentage of treatment. They're not going to cover all of it. Yeah.
And it's different from medical insurance as well. You know, our medical insurance is there for us when we need really major work done, but it might not cover all of the little things along the way. And it's almost as though dental insurance is opposite in a lot of ways.
Okay, so in other words, a dentist, depending on what the situation is, some of it is paid for with medical insurance and some with dental insurance.
Medical typically won't reimburse for dental procedures.
Oh, okay.
But your cleaning, your
Oh,
x-rays, your
okay,
exam,
okay.
those are things that your dental insurance will most likely contribute more for than if you needed an implant. That's more of a major treatment coverage. And so that's a hurdle that we all have to get through in the dental world, because a lot of patients come in thinking that just like their medical insurance, they're getting something major done and dental's not covering it as much as well as they thought it would.
Well, I don't know how dentists are doing things now. I remember when I first met Dr. Stratton, that was back when I was in my middle 30s. Have you had a chance to meet him yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You finally had a chance to meet him. He's a really nice person. But I had a bunch of medical things, or not medical, dental stuff that needed to be done. And I remember at that time he was setting up a payment program for people where they could pay a certain amount of money every month until it was all paid. Do dentists do anything like that now? If you know that, if somebody doesn't have all of the money, but they really need something done, is it possible to set up one of these payment systems?
It is. So obviously every dental office is different how they're run. But in our office, you know, we have a few options for patients. You know, we will extend out a payment throughout 3 months. That's as long as we go in our own office. But we also partner with a company called Care Credit.
Care Credit.
Yep, and they have tons of options for patients that can really stretch those payments out, sometimes to 2 years or more, if they need that extra time to make those payments.
Yeah, I just wondered, you know, because it can be like as expensive as medical. Well, I mean, it is sort of medical, but so. But anyway, I thought that I would, you know, bring that up so that people would know, how can people get a hold of you if they need you?
Well, phone call is really one of the best options.
Mm-hmm.
So typically calling our office. We also have a website if anyone's interested in looking at over the services that we offer or learning more about our treatment. Then they can visit our website. There is an area on the website where they can send us an email that comes through to our receptionist. A lot of times it's important that patients realize that their private email might not be protected. So a general message, I'm looking for a dentist, can you call me back? That's something where you're not giving any private information. But it's better to call if you have specific questions or specific concerns so that we can discuss them on the phone.
Oh yeah, it's easier to talk to people than it is to have to be typing emails.
Yes, yes.
So it's like when I'm lining up people to be on Fresh Perspectives, I need to talk to them. I can't just send them an email and say, would you be interested in being on television by any chance? So now you have a phone number. Would you like to say what your phone number is?
Certainly. So the area code is 716-326-2232.
And your website is probably Westfield Dental something?
Well, we're called Westfield Family Dental, but there is
Westfield Family.
There are
Dental.
2 Westfield Family Dentals in the U.S. So you can Google Westfield Family Dental New York and find us, but our website is smilesofwestfield.com.
Smilesofwestfield.com. Okay. I'm sure everybody will be glad to know that. Okay, now about the oral cancer. Do you just refer people out if you think there's a chance that they have cancer then?
Depending on the circumstances. Occasionally, let's say I did an oral cancer screening on you and I found a sore that has been there for a while and you've noticed it, it's not going away, not healing. We may elect to biopsy that area, send it out to pathology to have it evaluated, and depending on the results, we may have to refer a patient
to a cancer specialist.
Occasionally an oncologist, sometimes an oral surgeon, depending on the circumstances. Oftentimes they may partner together, so our first step could be the oral surgery office. It really just depends on the circumstances. Depending on the biopsy, you could have that procedure done at our office. We're trained to recognize what we would be more comfortable biopsying versus having you see a specialist just right off the bat. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think that was the point I was going to make. There are abnormalities that we may find. Some may be more aggressive than others, and if they look to be like something that is potentially very aggressive, we may make the referral out of the office sooner rather than trying to manage it in-house. That way, if the odds are great that somebody's going to need special care, we want to get them there as fast as we can.
Okay, I want to revisit the topic of root canal treatment. Now, some teeth have just one root and other teeth have 2. So do you want to talk about what teeth have 2 and which ones have just 1?
Sure.
Certainly.
Go ahead.
All right. So as a general rule of thumb, the teeth in the front of our mouths have just 1 root. As we get further back, that's where things start to change a little bit.
Well, I know the teeth are bigger, the ones in the back.
Yeah. So they're bigger, they're doing more chewing, so they need more support, and that's what our roots are doing for us. They're helping support those teeth. Our lower teeth, they typically will have 2 roots. So the lower molars, they've got 2 roots. Then in our upper molars, they will typically have 3 roots. And there's always exceptions. Sometimes you'll find one with a 4th root.
Oh my gosh,
So
sometimes it's different.
So there,
Oh my gosh, it's not the same in everybody.
Yeah.
Well, this is why x-rays are so important for us.
Okay. Now another thing, I wanted to bring up is wisdom teeth. Wisdom teeth, apparently everybody doesn't develop. Didn't it used to be historically people would get 4, 2 top and 2 bottom way in the back? My mother only developed 1 when she was at that age where it would be coming in, and I only had 2 on the top. And it's my understanding that people don't necessarily get all or even no wisdom teeth anymore. Would you like to tell a viewing audience why that is?
Well, there's a lot of different theories. One is an evolutionary theory. I don't know how you feel about that one. Just that as we've grown, our jaws have changed and they don't accommodate as many teeth. So as evolution has occurred...
It has to do with the modern diet, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Potentially. Yeah, so, you can develop missing an adult tooth anywhere in your mouth. That's just, a lot of it is family history, so your genes play a big role in that. The most common tooth to be missing is a wisdom tooth. So it's pretty common. We don't see it a lot. It's not every patient is missing 1 tooth, but if somebody's going to be missing an adult tooth, it's most commonly those wisdom teeth. So it does happen, and a lot of that is just with your genetics. So if somebody's dad didn't get wisdom teeth, there's a good chance that the child won't as well. Yep.
So did the 2 of you get all of your wisdom teeth?
We both still have all 4 of our
Oh,
wisdom
you both
teeth.
still have?
Yep.
Okay, a lot of people get them pulled. Is it possible to keep them throughout your life?
It is.
Depending on the
So
circumstances.
there's-
So many people wind up having them pulled because I'm not sure if they get more decay way back there or what it is, but quite often. And then there's something about impacted wisdom teeth. Would you like to tell the viewing audience what that is?
Yeah, so that's probably the most common reason that somebody has their wisdom teeth removed. Right? There needs to be enough room, so the jaw needs to be long enough to accommodate those extra teeth. And those teeth need to be coming in straight. So when they come in at an angle, that's when we call them, they're impacted. And those impacted wisdom teeth can really cause a lot of problems. They can damage the teeth that they're bumping into. So a lot of times those teeth will be removed, usually in our teen years, before they have a chance to cause those problems.
Well, that's a surgical procedure, right?
It
you
is.
actually have to perform surgery because they're inside the gums.
Yep.
Okay. One of the guys on the crew here handed me a couple of questions. One of them is, how often do you take new people at your office?
That's a great question. We love seeing new patients. We really enjoy those visits a lot, and we see new patients every week. Most commonly, we're seeing those new patients on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we're
really?
happy to accommodate them any day of the week.
Oh, okay. You try to fit them in on Tuesdays or Thursdays if it fits into their schedule.
Yep.
But otherwise, if they absolutely can't, you'll see them on another day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay. And the other question they handed me was, how do they take care of teeth crowding, which might have something to do with the wisdom teeth thing that we were just talking about. How do they take care of teeth crowding? I don't know. I wonder if they mean, like maybe people who have crooked teeth, the kind of people that need braces. Maybe, would that be what this question means?
I think so. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
So crowding can occur for various reasons, whether somebody's not had braces, genetically they have crowded teeth, or maybe somebody had braces and didn't wear the retainers and things shifted. Other teeth came in, things shifted. We do provide Invisalign at our office. So
Invisalign?
So depending on the amount of crowding, sometimes we can correct it with a series of clear plastic aligners that go over the teeth. If the crowding is more severe, or we feel that other things need to be changed to make it happen, sometimes we do refer patients out to a local orthodontist who can do a consultation.
Okay. Now, about these clear things that you're talking about that you put over the teeth. Now, is this something that you take out when you brush your teeth? Okay, so that to make sure you get your natural teeth cleaned every day. So, so it's removable by the patient then.
Yes.
So, I guess it can be quite an ordeal to have braces
It can.
on a person's teeth. You see people with their mouths full of hardware sometimes. So, now there was one thing that I was wondering about. Now, I met a woman, oh gosh, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Her name is Ellie Phillips. She started out in England, is where she's from originally, and she became licensed to be a dentist in England. And then after a while, she moved to Switzerland and had some training there and became licensed to practice dentistry in Switzerland. And then she finally came to the United States, and she became licensed to practice dentistry here. I don't know if somebody's already been trained and they have to be trained again in a different country. Do they have to take their whole schooling over again? How do they do that? Or don't you know?
They don't have to repeat all of their schooling. If they have a license in another country, oftentimes they may have to complete 2 years of dental school. So we had an international program that joined our class during our 3rd year. I think they added the 30 students who were international dentists already. They completed the same preclinical and clinical work that we had to do and graduated with us. After that, they completed residencies and acquired a license to practice in whatever state of their choice.
Well, I imagine that's probably what she had to do. But anyway, she's based in Rochester now and does not practice traditional dentistry. Somewhere along the line, she quit doing that and she runs a restaurant instead. And she goes, and I'm known for my desserts, she goes, which would probably be the last thing you'd be expecting to hear from a dentist. But she has like a line of, I don't know if you've ever heard of her or not, she has a line of dental products for preventing dental problems. And I can't remember everything that she has. But she has these, have you heard about Xylitol? You know, so you're aware of it. Okay. So she has her own line of different flavors of dental mints. And her first name being Ellie, and the fact that xylitol has a Z sound, she calls her product Zellies. I used to be able to get them in Mayville when the Johnson Village Pharmacy was here. I don't know, is that anything you heard about, the Johnson Pharmacy? It's a pharmacist, it was a privately, one of those small family-owned pharmacies. And the pharmacist there carried a lot of, she even became a homeopath after a while also. So she would carry homeopathic remedies and the Zellies mints and all that kind of thing. And so now I have to go to Lakewood because I have to go to Wegmans to find them. I used to be able to get them right here in Mayville where I live, you know. I just live about 3 miles from uptown Mayville. But, oh well, we get to Wegmans about once a month anyway, so. But anyway, would you like to say something about nutrition, the importance of good nutrition in
oral health?
In oral health, yes.
Yeah. So obviously, nutrition, also along with other things, have taken a huge highlight in the health of our whole body. And nutrition really begins with the mouth. So there's a lot of considerations there. You need nice, healthy teeth to be able to chew good foods. Certain foods that are healthier, the lettuces and stuff like that, a lot of the veggies, they're hard to chew unless you have a well-functioning set of teeth. So
raw carrots.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to eat those good foods is difficult unless you have good oral health.
Right.
But also the first step in digestion is chewing, and without that, you're not going to absorb as many of those nutrients as you can.
Right.
The other side of that is a good diet is also going to help you keep your teeth longer, because if you're eating candy all the time, you're going to get cavities and you're going to have more dental issues and that sort of thing. So the foods that tend to be healthier are also better for your teeth. So really many benefits.
Yeah, you've been hearing a lot in recent years about chocolate supposed to be good for you. However, there's a lot of sugar that goes into chocolate in order to keep it from tasting too, otherwise it would just be very bitter. So, you know, it's probably not the best health food to eat. Plus the caffeine and like in the dark chocolate. I remember for Christmas, at Christmas time one year, another married couple that were friends with us gave us one of those big bars of the really dark chocolate. It was like 90% cacao. And I think they don't put as much sugar in those, but I remember at lunch one day, Carl and I each had just two little squares of that. And this was at lunchtime. It wasn't in the evening or anything like that. But I'm very caffeine sensitive. And just that little bit of that really dark, that 90% cacao chocolate, I did not get a bit of sleep that night. It was horrible. I told Carl, I said, you're going to have to eat the rest of that by yourself, because I'm not going to go through that again. I need my sleep. You know? So I wanted to get back to the xylitol. I almost forgot to mention what she said about this Ellie said about the xylitol. She says that the Native Americans used to bite into the bark. It's made out of birch bark. And she said that the Native Americans always used to bite into the bark of the birch trees as a way to preserve their teeth. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's
And,
pretty
and there's not supposed to be any calories in it either.
right. Yeah, so that's what xylitol is, a natural sugar alternative.
Yeah,
So
it's
very
naturally sweet.
Yep.
But it doesn't, you don't gain weight.
Right. It's good for your teeth.
It's supposed to help prevent plaque buildup on your teeth. Yeah, she was a pretty interesting person. I'd like to have her on here. I'd like you to be able to meet her.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be fun. But she used to tell us all of these things, like she would talk about the old original formula, the amber-colored Listerine, and she says it's like a really good antibacterial mouth rinse. But she said if you're going to rinse your mouth with it, you have to follow it up with an alkaline mouth rinse. Have you ever heard that?
I don't know
a whole lot about the original
Because
Listerines.
she said it's acidic, so it can damage the enamel on your teeth.
Yep.
And that you need to swish an alkaline mouth rinse. That's what she said. So, so that was pretty interesting. My husband sort of suggested a question that I could ask you. Now, I told him when he said this, are you going to ask them about how dentists years ago used to give kids candy after their dental appointments? And I said, well, I don't think a dentist ever gave me candy when I went in for an appointment. He goes, well, the one I did used to give us, after we'd be finished with our checkups and cleanings or whatever work needed to be done, they'd hand us a great big the dentist he went to would hand them a big Tootsie Roll. So,
Yeah, we don't do that.
Yeah, no.
You won't find that at our office.
I don't think you're going to do that. But I just wondered about that. Oh, and then another thing that I heard was in the armed forces. Years ago, back before my time, I think this was, the generation before, they used to pull all of the soldiers' teeth and give them false teeth so they wouldn't have to deal with dental emergencies on the battlefield. Had you ever heard that?
I don't know if I've heard
I
specifically
have not heard
dentures,
that.
but
Yeah.
if a tooth had a problem and it could act up while they were out, then
They would probably
more aggressive
pull.
treatment.
You don't think that they probably pulled all of their teeth just as
I don't know.
I don't think
preventative?
so.
That would be pretty drastic,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are there other kinds of dental problems that you've seen that we haven't already talked about?
Well, let's see. We've got somebody mentioned when we got here that he grinds his teeth.
Oh,
Mhm.
teeth grinding.
That's a very
yes,
common
teeth
thing.
And that can do an extreme amount of damage, apparently,
It can.
to people's teeth.
Yep.
Those mechanical forces can really wear at the enamel on your teeth and weaken the tooth. So it can cause teeth to break, and a lot of times teeth that are breaking need crowns because of those extra forces. Since the pandemic started, I've seen a large uptick in patients coming in who
With
are
tooth
stressed
grinding
and teeth
problems?
grinding at night.
A lot more than before that.
Yeah, I would say so. So you hear about,
Yeah.
the TMJ
Well, a
joints.
lot of people were really scared. I mean, they proved that when they went out and bought too much toilet paper.
Mhm.
And we're wearing masks.
Yeah,
That's starting to
yeah.
go away, but with the mask wearing, a lot of patients are posturing their lower jaw forward to kind of keep the mask where it needs to be, or clenching while wearing the mask. So we've been talking with a lot of patients about what they can do to limit that.
Mhm.
Guards to wear at night to protect their teeth.
Mhm.
So I think
You can get guards to protect your teeth if you are a tooth grinding person. So how do those work? What do they cover the entire?
the biting surface of your teeth.
Mhm.
A lot of times we make them for the top teeth,
Mhm.
and they're a hard plastic so they snap over your top teeth with a flat bottom. That way your lower teeth just rub against the plastic versus engaging with the upper teeth and causing that damage.
Mhm, mhm. Well, I guess the guys here on the crew are really interested. They have plenty of questions of their own. I just got another question. Do you have other flavors than just mint for coming in and getting your teeth cleaned?
We do.
Right now, yeah, we do.
We've got a lot of different flavors, and they make, as far as the polishing pastes go that you get in your cleaning, they make just about any flavor you can think
Okay,
of.
so
Oh,
you can
yes.
actually come in, when you come in to get your teeth cleaned, you can actually request
Yeah.
a certain flavor.
Yep, we
Oh.
carry, I think, 3 or 4
You have
different
3 or 4.
kinds. Yep, mint is probably the most popular.
Oh, yeah.
But there's
it's-
some people that don't like it, so we have like a berry flavored and some other things like that, just to have a little variety.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. It never even occurred to me to even think about that. I just go in and Tina cleans my teeth and, and that's it. And it just doesn't even occur to me that there might be other flavors. Now, one question that I have is, so many municipalities now think that they have to have fluoride in their tap water. And I am really against this because fluoride is a known carcinogen. Do you agree with me that it should not be in our tap water, that we should not actually be drinking it? We should be getting our teeth cleaned or whatever and spitting it back out.
This is one that we'll have to politely disagree with you on, I
Yeah,
think.
Oh, no,
We
really?
could debate
You think
this
it should be in the water?
Yeah, yep. So community fluoridation of the water is one of the greatest public health services to come about in the last century. It doesn't really do a whole lot for you or I because our teeth are already developed. The amount of fluoride that's in community tap water is so low that it's very safe. I mean, anything in excess is going to be bad for you. Fluoride is no different. But who that fluoride in the water is really helping is young kids.
Okay.
So since it's happened, we've got the fluoride in the water, the young kids are drinking that water, that fluoride then makes it to their teeth that are developing and is really making their teeth stronger before they even erupt. We've seen a decrease in childhood decay.
Okay, so even if the child isn't really good at brushing their teeth, like they're not really good at doing a really good job, do you think that this can still help prevent the tooth decay?
It will help. They'll have less decay than they would have had if they didn't have that fluoride. So obviously they still need to have good oral health and good oral health habits. Brushing the teeth, nothing is going to take that away.
Yeah, I know. Little kids tend to take a while sometimes to get the hang of something really good. Okay, well, Carl and I live out in the wilderness, in the woods. Yes, we have our own private well, so we do not have fluoride in our tap water. But it's really good water. You would have to I'll have to bring you some sometime so you can taste it. I'm pretty sure they tapped into, when they drilled the well for our house, I'm pretty sure they tapped into an artesian well. Because the water, that is how good it is. It's just really good tasting. Let's see. So you probably don't go along with the fluoride-free toothpastes then that are on the market now.
Typically, we recommend the fluoridated toothpaste.
Do you?
Rinses.
Do you?
Yeah.
Now, some of the brands, especially, well, I probably shouldn't mention it. We're not supposed to really, but some of the traditional brands contain something. I'm trying to remember what it was called. But this one certain brand of toothpaste, I'll tell you after we're through recording the program, always smelled so bad to me that I could not use it, literally. And it's one of the major name brands. But I'd much rather go with one of the more natural, more modern ones. I'm trying to think of the name of that toxic substance that's in that toothpaste. It'll come to me later after the program's over with. But it's something that's like a hormone disruptor kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking
There's
about?
a couple of things that have caught, attention recently. Triclosan is maybe one of the most
That's
common
the name
ones.
that's it. Triclosan
Yep.
is the name that I was trying to think of just now.
Yeah. And,
So-
and I don't recommend that particular brand of toothpaste very often. I don't know that you
Is
do.
it in just that one brand?
That was the most common one. I'm sure there are others that have it. But the one brand really, they kind of built that whole brand around the premise of that.
Oh, really?
And they didn't know of its potential downsides. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one I don't.
Well, you know who I found that out from? Have you ever heard of Sherry Mason? We had her speak at a couple of our Vegetarian Society dinners, and she's very, very much an activist against polluting the water. And she said, definitely don't use toothpaste with triclosan in it, not just for your own good, but because, when you rinse your mouth, then it gets into the public water supply. And I remember her saying that the only thing, like the municipal, the sewage treatment plants, the modern ones, they were only originally made to clean pee and poop out of the water, but it doesn't get all of these like with chemotherapy drugs and like that, if somebody's getting chemotherapy treatments, then that's getting into the public water supply when they're going to the bathroom and so forth. So now, it used to be that people, when they're getting into the generation age group that I'm in, it used to be very common. It seems like almost everybody wound up having to have false teeth. But you see less of that these days, and that must have something to do with being better able to take care of our teeth these days. They probably didn't. You would hear people talking about cleaning their teeth with a rag or something like that. Now, would you like to say something about why we use the soft bristled toothbrushes?
They're less aggressive, so a very hard bristled brush will wear at your enamel and take little pieces of your enamel off over time, and it can wreak havoc on your gums too. If you're really aggressively brushing with something very hard, your gums don't like that. It's traumatic to them, and they can start to shrink up away from the tooth, a term we call recession. Recession is often followed by bone loss. So by using a soft bristled brush, we're gentler on the tooth surface, we're preserving the enamel, and we're also gentler on the gums, hoping to prevent that recession from occurring. Now, a soft bristled brush with somebody who's really digging in as they're brushing is going to do the same thing as a hard brush.
Just because they're being too aggressive. So it's better to use the soft bristle, but at least don't brush too hard.
Right. You want to be very gentle as you're brushing.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see, what else can I ask you? We've got 7 minutes left. I kind of ran out of questions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I might want to revisit Xylitol really quick.
Oh, let's do that, yes.
Because it's a really cool product. It's in a lot of stuff now. They make gums and lozenges, and you can buy it to add into your foods and that sort of thing. The reason it's so nice in the dental world is because it helps prevent cavities. We know that cavities are caused by the bacteria that live in our mouth. And that xylitol, it actually kills those bacteria. So that's the reason why it's so great. The one downside that I want to at least make sure our viewers know about is that it's really toxic to dogs.
Oh, I have heard that,
So
yes.
if you have some xylitol mints laying around, don't let your dogs get them.
So those of you who have pets, and you probably wouldn't want your cats to eat them either. No. Do not let your dogs or cats eat your xylitol mints. You know, if you drop one on the floor, pick it up before they can get their hands on it.
Yep.
So yes, yes, that's a good point because because that I have heard that that's a problem along with several other things like onions and various other things. I don't have the whole list memorized, so yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. It's like you don't want your dogs to eat chocolate either, or any kind of sugary foods, so you would keep them out of the reach of children. Now, we have this one cabinet in our kitchen. I buy dental treats for my cats. I don't have a dog right now, but I buy dental treats for the cats. And I keep it in this one cabinet in the kitchen. And the one cat, Indy, if I open that cabinet to get anything else out, he's right there. Do you have pets?
No, but we have a toddler. And he's often the same way.
Okay, you have a toddler. Do you have a boy or a girl?
A boy.
A
His
boy.
name is Benjamin.
And how old is he?
He's a year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay.
2 in September.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's nice. What's his name?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Okay. Do you call him Ben for short?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
most of the
okay.
time.
Okay. So you're probably planning on having more kids, aren't you?
Maybe. We keep joking that the practice is our new second baby.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's only
yeah,
been 7 or
yeah.
8 months since
So
we acquired that.
how did you come to wind up deciding to buy the Westfield dental practice?
Yeah, it checked a lot of our boxes when we
Mhm.
were searching for a dental practice.
Yep. We had been associates at another office
Uh-huh.
for about 3 years,
Uh-huh.
and we knew that we wanted to have our own place.
Mhm.
So we kind of started looking. We wanted smaller town feel because we're both from small towns originally.
Mhm.
We needed a building, obviously, that was big enough for the two of us because we wanted to be in the same place.
Mhm.
And the practice that we found in Westfield really, had everything we
Mhm.
wanted.
Mhm.
It seemed like a great area to raise Benjamin. That was a big
Mhm.
consideration of ours, and everybody in the town when we came here to check it out has been very nice and friendly,
yeah.
and the
Oh,
community
yeah.
has just been
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we went to Dr. Stratton for probably approximately 30 years, quite a long time. And a few years back, it came time for him to retire. And so we were going to go, the only other dentist in Westfield was Dr. Rhodes. So we wound up getting switched over to Dr. Rhodes, and then we'd only been going to him for a few years, and I think it was just last year. All of a sudden we heard, somebody said Dr. Rhodes is going to retire. Did you hear Dr. Rhodes is going to retire? And I don't think he's all that old. But apparently he decided there were other things he wanted to do with his life. So then I wound up hearing, there's a young married couple that are going to buy the practice. Rhodes had sold his building to somebody else who just changed it over into a home for themselves, and he bought Dr. Stratton's office, which was roomier.
Mm-hmm.
And so now all of a sudden it's changed hands again after like 30 years with one dentist.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, anyways, I am a vegan, and Dr. Stratton's wife is also a vegan, and they've been to some of our vegetarian vegan society dinners. What kind of a diet do the two of you eat?
We are not vegan.
We are not. No.
Oh.
I'm not sure what you'd call our diet.
Herbivores.
Herbivores.
Right? Is that the
Well,
is,
omnivores.
omnivores?
Yeah,
Omnivores.
we are very omnivorous.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Do you eat any kind of meat or anything?
Mhm.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Yep.
we do.
Oh. I'll tell you, my body doesn't do well at all on animal foods.
Mhm.
So, I actually kind of cured myself of what I was told was thyroid cancer when I had been on a meatless diet for years, probably close to 30 years, I think. I've been without eating meat. I haven't eaten any meat in 46 years.
Mhm.
And then this specialist wanted to take my thyroid gland out, and everybody that I'd ever known before who'd lost part or all of their thyroid gland never seemed to feel good anymore. So I decided, I went to an herbalist that I was aware of who had some good luck, had a lot of good luck with cancer patients. And I went over to totally plant-based. And amongst some other things, there were some other things I had to do also, but it went away. Whether or not it was actually cancer, I don't know, but it went away, whatever it was. So, but now I eat sea vegetables. At that point, with that experience, I was doing a lot of reading on the subject, and I wound up finding out that literally a full 25% of all women have thyroid problems caused by the lack of iodine in the modern diet. So, well, we've come to the end of another episode of Fresh Perspectives. And I want to thank you so much for coming on today. It's been fun. It's been fun getting to know you a little better than just the one time I was in the office since you started there. And maybe we can have you on again sometime.
That would be great.
Yes.
And I'll see the rest of you in the viewing audience on the next episode.